What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're into DMZ missions, you're in the right place. Today we're looking at the penultimate tier 4 White Lotus mission called Caved In. Now this mission essentially tasks you with traveling to a specific area on the map by boat, locating a document at that area and swapping it for another document in your inventory, and then extracting that stolen document. I'll share some general tips as to the right way to approach this mission, all of the different locations you should be going to, and hopefully we can get you through this easy peasy lemon squeezy. So first and foremost, this mission used to be bugged before the Season 1 Reloaded patch, but that has since been addressed. The issue was that you could not replace the smuggling documents with sensitive documents from your inventory, and therefore you couldn't complete the third step in this mission. Now that, as mentioned, has been solved and you can successfully complete this mission in a group or solo, whichever is your choice. But what I think this mission actually needs to probably have done is have an additional step added at the beginning of the mission mentioning the acquisition of sensitive documents. The bottom line is, if you are unsuccessful in finding sensitive documents somewhere in the map, you should not be attempting this mission. That should be the first step for you, not approaching the cave in a boat, but rather finding sensitive documents somewhere on the map, and then once you get those, you actually kick off and you start going through the steps in this mission until you get to the point where you swap the smuggling documents for the sensitive documents and you extract successfully. That then means that most importantly, you should be concentrating on finding sensitive documents somewhere on the map. Now I can share a simple location where you have a relatively good chance of finding this, and that is of course room 302 and room 303 in Sawar village, the sunken village. This is of course the area where previously in a mission you would have had to come to find the golden deagle. And so this location oftentimes, especially in room 303, spawns sensitive documents. You can see me getting some here right now. The only problem with this is that this area is usually heavily contested by players that are either doing the Golden Deagle mission or just simply coming to this location to gear up, since oftentimes these two rooms also spawn good armor and good bags. The reason why this area is so popular is because you can access both of these rooms without having keys to them, since these are locked locations. You can simply do that by going to the top of the roof and jumping through the skylights on both of these rooms, and then essentially looting them from the inside out and leaving. So this is a reason why this is so popular. Now I have come across sensitive documents in many other locked locations on the map, and you are absolutely able to try and find those by bringing some keys in with you or finding some keys and then going to those locations. And by the way, check out the channel for all my videos showing key locations and where they are. So you can absolutely do that. But if you don't have any keys and you spawn close to Sawar village, then that should be your first stop to see if you can find some sensitive documents. Now with the sensitive documents in hand in your inventory, you find yourself a boat and you travel along this route to this area here. This is essentially the cave entrance where you need to be driving into with a boat. Now this completes the first step of your 3-step mission here. If you swim in here, you will not proc that, and you actually have to drive the boat a little bit into the cave, essentially to the area where you can start refueling and repairing your boat. Do be careful though, this area often has enemies with LMGs and enemies with RPGs in. So perhaps a good idea would be to park your boat on the outside, swim in, murder those guys, come back, get your boat, and then drive it in and get the first step credit. If you don't do this, these boats, especially the small rubber ducks, are very, very sensitive to damage and they can explode super easily. Usually one RPG hit is more than enough, and a couple of bursts from an LMG will do it as well. So I'd hate for you to have to lose your boat right there at the entrance there, fail your first step, and then have to swim out like a bitch and find yourself another boat. Once you're in the cave, once you've got that first step and you've killed all the enemies and you've secured the area, this is the room that you should be targeting. You'll see the smuggling documents on the floor next to the bed here. So you pick those up, and that is going to not give you credit yet for the second step because you have to actually successfully extract. And then with the sensitive documents in your inventory, you will get a prompt to place them down in exactly the same place that the smuggling records were. As soon as you do that, you will get the credit for the third step. And then what you need to do is simply extract. Now, as mentioned, you have to do all of this in one deployment. So at this point in time, your primary focus should be finding a safe extraction of one of the three, whichever one seems more safer for you. Or if you want to be really careful, you find yourself a hostage rescue contract, and that contract is actually going to give you your own personal extraction. Once you do this, you will get credit on all 3 steps of this mission, and you will finally be ready for tier 5 in White Lotus, baby. And that right there is it for the mission as well as the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below if you need any further hints or any further explanations specifically around this mission. Also, be sure to check out the channel for other DMZ missions that you might be struggling with. Lastly, let me know if there's a mission that I've missed, something that you'd like help on that isn't featured on the channel, and I'll be sure to put it on the list and bring it to you as soon as possible. Other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now.